I hope you are. I'm literally shaking with anticipation here. First legal, anyhow, ride on the Campisi Customs carbon fiber Ducati V4S Panigale. Stand by. We're about to take off. So I was just debating with myself whether I should record this whole thing in its entirety, because the first part of the run is just to the gates of our little gated community here at Wistful Vistas. And that's not all that exciting, but I think it's sort of exciting when you're getting on the bike for the very first time. A lot of moving parts going on around here. I was trying to take some photos. I want to make the experience as wonderful for everybody as I can. While I'm boring you putting on my gloves, I just want to dedicate this video to our late President Bush, 94 years old, lived a life in service to the USA. What a patriot, and what a man to emulate for the future. Okay, let's see. I'm going to be writing like this. So I'm going to try to adjust the camera angle a little bit upward. A little more like that, I think. Okay, so God knows, I don't know. Kickstand up, keys in, ignition sequence begun, release the Kraken. There she goes. Hope you can hear her. She's loud. I'll just mention very quickly that I had intended to put the baffles in and couldn't do it. With my vast skills, I could not do it because I do not have, when I have the spring puller and I put it in and I haul on the spring, the bike wants to jump back on me. I don't have a bike stand. I do have a bike stand, but I don't have one that I can sort of set it up in the air while I'm doing it, and that's an issue. So I'm going to have either a partner do that or invent some way to lock the wheels completely. All right, here we go. So she won't try to take off on me when I do the spring puller. Okay, my issue with this machine is all of my helmets are not really the type that are set up for sporting viewpoints. So I'm sitting with my neck craned forward and looking out of like the first third of the helmet visor. So that is a bit of an issue. But that notwithstanding, this is the only helmet. It's a Bell. It's the only helmet that I have that I've got. Well, I do have two, but it is the best one that I have with the GoPro mount more or less permanently attached. So we got to ride with this one, and I'm trying to find a comfortable position here. Okay, we're in our little slice of paradise. I call this Wistful Vistas, suburban San Diego, California. They have a little thing, a little jerky down low. So you have to be prepared for that. It's a little bit of a distraction. I need to have some practice on this thing, obviously. So guilty secret, as I mentioned, guilty secret number one is I have ridden this thing already. I have ridden it. Rode it to the our district motor registration authorities. Don't like riding over those crazy spikes there. To get it registered, both times were futile. Nothing coming from that way. Okay, like I say, she's a little bit jerky in that first gear. Here we go. Woo-ha! Oh my God. And that's just a little touch. Gotta roll pull forward here. I feel like I'm encumbered with a lot of gear. I wore officially big leathers. I call them my big leathers today. Can we find neutral? Maybe we can. Alright, we're not going to need it because the light's going to change. And these big leathers are a bit bulky, and I'm not used to riding them. Not used to riding them in this sporting position either. So a little bit to get used to. You don't have to worry about too much behind you. This bike just wants to fly. And second and third gear are probably good for all day cruising around the neighborhood. Oh my goodness. My challenge from a physical sense, is trying to get in a relaxed position with all this leather. I feel like the Michelin Man a little bit. I find it's a little easier to get into neutral when you're rolling. I say that, didn't catch it then. There, we got neutral. There is a neutral on this machine. So, this test loop is going to be familiar to all the people, all of you who've ridden with me before. And that is, I'm going to go San Dieguito and around a little bit there. Here, we're getting a green light. See, I got to look up so far. That is straining my neck. Car behind this one, do you see me? Yeah, you do. And I'm sorry if I get my hand in front of it. Wow. Oh, Jesus. Sweet mama, come get your baby boy. Boy, I hope this is recording, because it is just insane. Once you're rolling along, the rider triangle is a bit aggressive, the lower torso. The arm position is pretty comfortable for me, actually. An old guy doing this, can you imagine? But that situation with the helmet and craning my neck upward and forward is, that's going to be the challenge, I think, for me on the long term. So as I say, this is going to be a familiar little loop. It is our test loop. We've done it before. I've ridden all of my machines around here. This is my little quick, do you see? Yeah, you do, but you're going anyway. Ugh. So this is my test loop, and one that I'm fairly familiar with. Oh, he's going, Mr. Least Maserati is going to impress us with his turn of speed here. So at least I have that road familiarity. So I've got that going for me. If not ultimate machine familiarity or speed and throttle position, etc. familiarity. But while we're riding, I want to go through quickly before we run out of video space and things. I don't care how long this video is going to be, as a matter of fact, because it's such a big occasion for me, and I hope some of you are getting the same kind of fun out of it. And that is that it's just the first time on it, feeling legal and able to move along a little bit. But I don't care how long it is, because I want this to be impressions of the machine itself. I'll do a separate video, and it'll be a garage video on the saga. And there is a saga in terms of how I got it registered and all that other sort of stuff. Because I want to give as much as I can anyway, without releasing too much personal information. Oh, goodness gracious, she is sprung a little stiff right now. And I was just talking to somebody who said, you know, with those carbon fiber wheels, you can really dampen, or you can really set the shocks to their soft position, because they're so light compared to the standard wheels. So I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to do that until I have a little bit more machine familiarity. I did set the clock. It's now located in California. So, comments continuing on this machine. That will be a separate video. You do have to be a little aware of the police around here. San Diego's finest love to nip young hooligans like me. Oh dear. And so that'll be a separate video, and we'll talk about the saga and what went on and what I ultimately discovered, which I think can be really useful to some people, especially if you do private party transactions. Buying things at a dealership, there's a reason that dealers make their dough, because it is a lot easier. So that'll be a separate video. But right now, this is more about the machine itself, my impressions of the machine itself. So, first comment, would I have bought this machine on my own? And the answer to that is no, I would not have. And that's because my sport bike clip-on days are, as you might imagine, a little bit behind me. Not my riding hard and driving hard days, but at least the sport bike part behind me. Secondarily, how is it to ride? Well, it's actually a dream to ride. It's so crazy what they've done with modern electronics, and with what Jarrett and Dotto did to set up this bike. The ride itself is awesome, and the machine, despite having this great, huge power, 208 on the dyno, according to the dyno sheets that Jarrett shipped. I think it was 208. Doesn't matter. 195, 208. Lord knows, we don't care. Oh, jeez. I'm going to put myself in that guy's trunk. So, but the electronics make it very, very manageable. And right now I've got all the nanny systems set up pretty close to their maximum. I'm going to keep them there for a bit, and then I'm going to go, as I say, go back to suspension and set those a little softer for street type roads. And then I have to alter some of my equipment to match the machine. And that will be, number one thing will be a helmet. Get the proper helmet for it, because I'm looking very odd as my head is tilted all the way back riding this. So the ride, absolutely sublime, so smooth. And this machine, you keep at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, and it's just really happy moving along. It's smooth. One good thing about having Jarrett, having it broken in, is that it's smooth, it's not tight. You can rev it, you can lug it, and it's all cool. It's all cool. So the motor sounds like a big V-twin. Sounds like a big Ducati V-twin. Now I've ridden the Monster, I've ridden the I've ridden the Multistrada. So I've ridden those two, and those are V-twins, and those definitely are a bit lumpier than this is. So I have to approach this corner a little cautiously, because there's people here that are, let's just say, non-compos mentis. So I've ridden those two, and they're a little lumpier. The machine I really like, and the one I contemplated on the Ducati side before I actually bought my Aprilia, was the Super Sport. They came out with that Super Sport, and that was really nice. Ducati has done a great job on that, particularly in terms of the riding position, and yet you can still ride a fared machine and feel like you're Big Daddy-O, if you know what I mean. So, really like that Super Sport. Got the Aprilia instead, but really did like that Super Sport. So coming back to this particular Ducati, it is marvelously easily controllable. The motor smoothness, even though it sounds like a V-twin, is really something. I mean, you can hear it thumping away. I guess it works on a principle that makes it like 4 cylinders that emulates a V-twin, Big Bang theory or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to study that a little bit more. And so you can hear it sounding like a V-twin, but it runs and feels like a V4, which is a paradox, I know, but it's actually very smooth. You can feel no more than the normal sort of motorcycle vibrations. And here's where you have one of the biggest paradoxes of owning these machines. I used to drive my GT3 around here, and I'd get stuck behind some guy towing a trailer, as I am now, and you just got to go while the traffic lets you go. So that motor is something to behold, and with that kind of horsepower. So I remember when we had high output, very high horsepower motors, and they'd have great cams in them and huge carburetors, pre-fuel injection, and the things were nearly undrivable because the lift was such, the thing would stall off the line, the clutch was hard to engage, you had to have a Schwarzenegger leg to hold it down, and the motor management was all done mechanically, and it drove raw fuel back out the intake stacks when it was just idling along, and they were just beasts. They were really practically undrivable on the street, but guys did it because, hey, it was cool to do. So I would say this machine benefits from 21st century. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. I'm going to pull over here for a second. I'm just going to pull over and let that guy get ahead. So this break is brought to you by that trash truck brake. We got neutral. We're going to let us sit here, and then we're going to let those guys get ahead of us a little bit. Jeez. And I'll watch the rearview mirror. I'm going to give them a couple of minutes. Open up the visor here a touch. Another thing I'll mention about this machine while I'm stopped here, because that's exactly when it comes into play, is that it's hot. It does run hot, and I'm a little curious about how viable it's going to be in a California summer, because the heat that comes off the side, especially around mid-thigh, is actually pretty intense. So that's a concern of mine. I won't have that experience until I actually get it out there, but that is a concern. All right, so I put myself right next to the curb here.